Welcome back to Echo. Last we saw, Carl went missing, and it appears that he actually went missing for reals, not just, disappeared into some ghost dimension. And the gang is at the house right now trying to look for him. Well, except for Leo, who stormed off, if I recall. But anyways, let's see what happens. Oh, hey! TJ rises from Carl's computer chair, clearly forcing a smile as he sees me. He's clutching his cell phone in his chest. TJ? Yeah? Are you okay? No. TJ sinks back down into his chair. Perking a brow, I move one of Carl's gaming console chairs over towards the computer area. TJ slides his cell phone back into his pocket. I'm worried about Carl. We all are. We're calling the police and hopefully they can help us, yeah? I know. It's just that image on the phone, you know? The picture Carl took? Yeah, it's pretty spooky. Spooky doesn't begin to describe my initial thoughts regarding it, but this is TJ I'm speaking to, so gentle words and all. Yeah. One of his canines sinks into his lower lip, the lynx chewing on it nervously. Maybe it's a screenshot of something he had on his monitor. We could check his history and recent documents to make sure. Have you already checked all that? His face flashes with a guilty expression. No, there's a password required to log in. Oh yeah, the new versions of those operating systems make you log in with an email account. It's dumb. I pause, thinking for a moment, then scoot a little closer to the keyboard. May I? TJ blinks. It's taking him a second to understand. Oh, yeah, sure. He rolls over to the side, and I pull the keyboard closer to me. Clicking the mouse brings up a generic login window. The username, Blaze Ice, is visible. When we were younger, Carl and I used to play a lot of free-to-play MMO-type games. I convinced him to give me his password for once, saying that I'd grind XP for him while he was on vacation with his parents. In reality, asshole me sent his rare party hat item to my character. I tried to tell him that the game devs deleted the item from the game, but I don't think he believed me. God, I was a shitty 10-year-old. Oh hey, that worked! Yep, kinda surprised he's still using the same old password, but kinda not at the same time. Kyle isn't one much for change, right? Anyway, what should we look through first? TJ scoots closer, his chin practically on my shoulder. I have to shift my head some so that his whiskers don't brush my cheek. His messenger, I guess? Huh, I don't recognize most of these names. I see you and me on here. Most of these others outside our group are his online friends. It's good to know that he's still being social and meeting people after we left. Well, besides the names of people in our group, these all look to be online people. I played Vox Despair as a multiplayer with Carl and that Lucha Leche guy before. He lives on the other side of the planet, practically. I wonder if he still talks to Heather. I hope not. There's a brief silence. Flynn messaged him earlier, though. I see a 1 next to his name. But I don't think he wants us reading that. He didn't want anyone looking through Carl's phone after he and Jenna were looking at it. I think Flynn might have vented to Carl about what happened at the river pretty hard-like. TJ's face briefly scrunches, as if flinching in response to that information. I move to click on Flynn's name, but TJ stops me. No! Blinking, I look over towards a wide-eyed TJ, who seems to be now recoiling from his own abrupt interruption. What? Sorry. I just think we shouldn't pry into that, if he didn't want us to see it. To be honest, Flynn being so cagey about his contact with Carl just makes me more curious. However, if what little stuff Flynn said to TJ to his face was enough to leave him shaken and distraught, I can't imagine what seeing the stuff he didn't say would do. Alright. I scoot back to the side a little, letting TJ take the mouse. He still looks pretty guilty for snapping at me. Let's check his browser history. Okay. TJ moves the cursor down to the star-like symbol on the taskbar. Huh. Okay. Weed, hauntings, porn, video games, movie reviews, job search stuff. And let's plays. I guess it's pretty par the course with regards to Carl. Nothing too unusual, but... TJ moves the cursor to the Food Factory link. I gently, yet assertively, place my paw on TJ's own and move the cursor elsewhere. It's a store for special couches. Isn't it called a futon? No. Look, the browsing history stops right before midnight. And the picture on Carl's phone was taken around that time, right? Yeah. That's really weird. It is. Let's keep looking. Try recent files. TJ nods, closing the browser and hesitating for a moment before clicking the most recent file titled carl.doc. A resume? Looks like it. I remember the Easy Mart. I'm still a little upset that it shut down. I mean, it's no surprise why, TJ. Yeah, it was nice to have a local food bank when we were kids. The convenience store just isn't the same. The dietary choices available to people here are now very limited, unless they drive all the way to Peyton. A food desert, I think it's called. Plus, it was nice to see Carl here working. He seemed to enjoy that place. Because he got the slack off the whole time and there was barely any customers. But I get what you're saying. His anxiety about being around other people wasn't nearly as bad back then. TJ nods, smiling sadly. I bet Jenna could help him. You know she's not actually training to be a psychologist, right? Her studies are more neural med techie. Oh, I know. She's a really good listener, though. I nod. It's her big ears. Chase! I snicker, TJ shaking his head and closing the resume. He moves to open the next document on the list titled F-Space 129768 JPEG. What the? Ah, that's my old profile picture I drew for computer class back in the 4th grade. Wow, really? It does look kind of familiar. Yeah, I used it back when we all made social media accounts. My mom made me delete mine when I got home. That was probably for the best. There was a lot of drama around how that site made you pick your top 8 friends and you ranked them like that. A lot of feelings were hurt and such. That sounds awful, and I think I remember some of it. Sydney didn't even add me. TJ's gaze shifts for a moment. I'm wondering why he has it saved, and why he was looking at it yesterday. Maybe spending time together made him sentimental? I was still watching some of those funny movies we made with your camera back then. Your voice used to crack so much. I feel a slight tinge of embarrassment rise from my neck to my cheeks. Oh man, I need to delete those. No, don't! They're really good. As silly as they are, we were really good at making them. I grunt, waving dismissively. Just open the next file, TJ. I really like the one where you use that editing software to make a twin of yourself. I think the plot was one of those twins was a detective and the other was a criminal, both trying to solve their father's murder. And they had superpowers. I was more ambitious than I probably should have been with that project. TJ, just click the next one, please. Oh, alright, sorry. TJ clicks the next file labeled 09-22-2008 PNG. That's from our trip to the reservation. Back in like freshman year of high school. Jeez. Look at you two, you were so little. Carl was just getting his beard. I think we were both just getting used to high school at the time, and that was taken during Thanksgiving. It's surprising to see Carl smiling in a photo. It's surprising to see something of Carl other than his butt in a photo. I wish you wouldn't send me those. There's only one item left on the list of files that was last opened yesterday. It's titled To Carl PNG. Wait a second, that sounds familiar. TJ looks at me curiously, then clicks it. Oh, wow. I emailed this to Carl months ago. Photos like this make me wish I went with you guys to Pueblo. Yeah, I wish you went too, TJ. I was actually trying to convince Carl to come back and try again, with a different major. His parents really wanted him to stay away from art degrees, which is what he really wants to do. TJ looks like he's about to respond, but his left ear perks, his attention shifts towards the doorway. I hear the sound of thuds against the carpet out in the hall, and I half expect to see Carl round the corner and ask what the hell we're doing. Instead, Jenna steps in, her turquoise eyes already trained on the computer monitor. She moves closer, leaning over me and squinting at the screen. I remember that. First year of Pueblo, your parents had just dropped you off. I was wondering what the heck you had on your chin at the time. Oh yeah, you hadn't seen me with my facial scruff yet. I never took you for the soul patch kind of guy, honestly. It's a goatee. It's kinda small for one, don't you think? Frown, reactively reaching up and touching the scruff at the end of my chin. It was kinda weird, but now I'm used to seeing it. I frown deeper. TJ blinks, giving me an apologetic look. I try to refocus the conversation. Carl is missing. He is. Why are you looking at all his old pictures? These were the files that he was looking at yesterday. And we check his browser history. His online activity stopped just before midnight and didn't even resume. Anything unusual there? I think he was looking to buy a futa. Jenna stands there, staring at TJ with a deadpan expression. After about 5 seconds, she looks at me expectingly. He means futon. But you said... No, nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, well, I'll be sure to let the sheriff know when she gets here. Flynn steps into the room besides Jenna. Usually the Gila has a bit of a case of resting bitch face, but right now he looks downright sour. Alright, let's figure out who's going to look where. Wolfboy has made the decision to go check the roads Elizabeth through Danica. Chase, you've got Margaret Lane through Tetanus Alley, Jasmynn Street. I'm giving you more since you've got a car. I'll take Gretchen Way through the beginning parts of Road 65 in my truck. TJ, you like hiking. We need you to check around the hills and old nature trails around here, all the way down to the lake. TJ stiffens, and the feeling in the room seems to cool drastically. Only if you're okay with doing that. We just want to be thorough. I'm fine. I'll be fine. I just want Carl to be okay. Jenna nods, offering TJ a reassuring smile. Just text me while you're out there. I'll most likely be free since I'll be keeping watch here at the house. TJ smiles back, sheepishly. Okay. Before you all scout off to your respective places, I found some weird shit in the basement. Flynn holds up his fingers. There seems to be some white chalky substance upon them. At the entrance of the crawlspace, there was this bunch of hoof prints, dents in the walls and plaster everywhere. Like Carl was headbutting the damn thing. There's nothing I can see in there though. My theory is that Jeremy gave him some bad weed, laced with some shit, and now Carl's on a really bad trip. Which is why I need you to talk to Jeremy when you get to Jasmynn, Chase. He looks sidelong towards Jenna. Jasmynn Street, I mean. I feel a chill crawl up my spine. Jeremy, and especially his friends, meant my life hell during most of my childhood, especially after the lake incident. All of them were native inhabitants of Jasmynn Street. If it wasn't for Leo stepping in, things would have been even worse. You can text me too, Chase. She seems to have read the look on my face. I swallow and try to look casual. Okay. Flynn rolls his eyes so hard I can see his pupils for a moment. Pausing, I remember something. I saw Leo get into an argument with Duke outside of the house earlier. Duke kept pointing at it and was saying something to him. Whatever Duke said, it was enough for Leo to push him to the ground and drive off. Knowing Leo's minimum threshold for violent turns, probably hello. Flynn seems to soften a bit at the comment, looking sidelong to hide his smirk before returning to his more hardened expression. But in seriousness, that is concerning. I'll also relay this information to Sheriff Malco when she gets here. I'll text Leo and try to figure out what he wanted. Good plan. Flynn immediately heads out without another word. TJ hesitates a little, fidgeting with something on the computer, but gets up and leaves as well. I'm about to follow suit, but Jenna stops me, her paw on my shoulder. Hey, if Jeremy asks about me, you don't need to lie and say that I'm not here or anything, okay? Oh, yeah, I understand. She lowers her paw, recrossing her arms over her chest. We'll talk later, yeah? I feel like I'm lingering to the point of awkwardness now. Good luck. You too. With a clearing of my throat, I shuffle my way out. I take the bend out to Mary Drive, trying to squint through the dust kicked up by my vehicle past the sagebrush ahead. Carl isn't exactly small or stealthy, so if he's around here, I should be able to see him. The more I drive, the more I start to notice how little maintenance the roads received out here. My tires kick up topsoil and gravel, and divots mar the surface and jolt me in my seat. Unlike Flynn's truck or Leo's van, my little clunker isn't meant for these sort of roads. I can practically feel my maintenance bill growing. As I approach the turnoff onto Jasmynn Street, I pull over onto the side of the road. I reach back into my shorts and take my wallet, placing it in the glove box and locking it, just in case. Stepping out of the vehicle, a cool sweat begins to form along my neck, and I have to remind myself that I'm 21. We're all adults. I can drink, I have a car, I live by myself. And Carl is in trouble. As I walk through the clearing of dry bush, I'm reminded of the last time I was here. I had a fight with my parents. I think it was over grades or Leo or something. Eventually, I had enough of being yelled at and took off for a generic teenage angst walk. My MP3 player was with me at the time, so I had to put my earbuds in and hold my emo core cranked up. Hours passed, and it was like I wasn't even awake, just meandering through the desert, bleary-eyed and directionless. I must have ended up on Jasmynn, because the abandoned school was nearby. I remember stopping to kick a rubber tire or something, and before I could, an arm appeared. It was furless, sort of pinkish and incredibly long. It just sort of showed up on the corner of my vision, stretching out in front of me, like someone was trying to hug me from behind. The music on my MP3 player had stopped, and there was a complete absence of sound besides the ringing in my ears. For some reason, I still didn't understand. I didn't move. Maybe I was too scared? For some reason, I still don't understand. I didn't move. Maybe I was too scared. I did speak, but all I could say was, "Hey." And then someone hit me over the back of the head and called me a cocksucker. They tried to take my MP3 player too, but I was clutching it so tightly at that point that they couldn't get me to release it, no matter how many times they hit me in the head. I ended up telling Leo about it later, and he basically forbade me from ever going near Jasmynn Street again. He kept asking who did it. I told him I didn't know, but Leo thought I was just trying to keep him from harm. He went on to a big speech about how, where we come from, if somebody did this shit to a man's significant other, they'd be fucking dead. I was tired and my head hurt, so I asked him how well that philosophy was going over with everyone in his home country. That just made him even angrier, and he kept going on about how he's supposed to be the protector of us all. Hell, he even name-dropped Sydney to help prove his point, someone he almost never brings up because it kills the mood. I came to a stop at the edge of the clearing. The street sign on the corner of the base of the hill confirms my location. Jasmynn Street. Also known as Tetanus Alley, if you ask Flynn. No wonder Jenna changed her name. I make a point to keep my tail from touching the ground, occasionally checking the path ahead for shattered glass. Looking through the shattered windows of the abandoned manufactured homes and littered hilltops, I can't imagine Carl in a place like this. Approaching Jenna's old house, I take stock of how it's aged poorly. It's stucco, unlike most of the other trailers about, but it hasn't seen a good coat of paint in at least a decade. The lawn is overgrown with weeds, and old convenience store wrappers lay entangled within the grass. Even as little kids, we never played here. Jenna would always insist we go to Leo's or my house. Listening in and peering through the torn screen windows, I can see that no one is home. Moving on around the back, I can hear some chatter behind the half-demolished home next door. Some familiar voices stand out instantly. I keep out of sight behind the debris. "No, it wasn't like that." Heather says this in a babyish whine, practically a coo. There's a rasp to her speaking voice that I don't remember her having. "You lit up with him all day in that shed, and you're saying you didn't do that?" "No. He was really, really sweet. I mean, he had an accent and everything." What kind of accent? That voice I don't recognize. It's sort of gravelly but artificial, like someone is trying to make their voice sound deeper than it is. You know, the Hispanic ones. Is it still, PC to say? Because my cousin was telling me off fierce for using that other word. You called Josh a spick, Heather. But I meant it in a good way, like when I call you my night rat. You can call me whatever the fuck you want, Heather. Just don't be throwing that shit around when Jer is still trying to sell. Chill, dude. He still bought from me. How much? It's in the book. He might not next time. Dude. Ever since you got back, you're so much more assertive. That unknowing voice doesn't respond. Jeremy speaks up again. So, what happened with Juan? We just talked, He wants to be a baker. He said next time we meet, he'll bring me some of those guava campechanas. Those are those apple turnover looking things, right? God, I'm hungry. Oh, that sounds so good, Jeremy. Why'd you have to bring up apple turnovers? Well, that's sort of what campechanas are. You brought them up, Heather. Jeremy laughs in his trademark bassy and abrupt titter. Are you gonna give Juan your cherry pie next time you see him too? What? Huh? I don't know how to cook. I don't even have a stove. Fuck me. The voice groans. It's slang for vagina, a slice of your cherry pie. I wouldn't put my junk in a vagina that looked like a slice of cherry pie. You're gross. What? He said it. You both are. Ugh. Heather says this with a snooty flair, though it's subverted by her voice's more dopey, childish undertone. I need to get out of this town. You haven't even been back that long. Are you upset about the dreams again? Yeah, the dreams and shit getting worse, but it's other stuff too, okay? You just need to relax, dude. Smoke some, That's what works for me when I get 'em. I'm trying not to use the stuff I'm trying to sell. I gotta save up, Everyone around here seems to be losing their shit, more so than usual. Plus that freaking bear leering around here all the time. Brian keeps pushing me to sell his cut injectable stuff, won't tell me what it is. Really? There's a pause in the conversation. Keith wants to say hi to his mom before work. What? Keith wants to say hi to his mom before work. Heather. Keith wants to say hi to his mom before work. What's wrong with her? Why are you saying that, Heather? An increasing sense of urgency takes hold in Jeremy's usual calm, lackadaisy tone. Keith? You mean Keith from... Heather begins to sob. Her crying is sputtering and wet. I can hear it from here. Oh, God! Heather, dude, what's wrong? She continues bawling, her whining cry increasingly shrill and choked. Oh my God! Heather! I can't deal with this right now. Micah, give her a joint. Micah? What? What? I'm not giving her any of mine. She's probably pulling this shit just to get more. Dude, now. I've got some of mine in the mini storage out back. Just hurry, okay? Fuck, okay. Hearing footsteps, my heart lurches. I move back around to the other side of the structure, praying that my clumsy otter self is actually stealthy for once in my life. However, it isn't long before I see him round the same corner I just did. What in the goddamn shit? Micah's big eyes widen in alarm, the words catch in his throat, higher pitched than his others. There's a pause, and having been caught, I haven't got a clue of what to say. Well, shit, it really is you, he mutters, his face taking a more stern expression. What? What the fuck are you doing here, schizo? I'm jolted for a moment, that being something that I haven't been called in years. I swallow, crossing my arms and trying to look nonchalant. Looking for Jeremy. Thought you fucked off to college like the rest. I thought you disappeared back in 2008. A quiet huff escapes the small bat. Well, I'm here now. Heather's cries can still be heard in the background, her banshee-like wails providing an odd ambience to this reunion. Why do you need to see Jeremy? I'm looking for Carl. An indiscernible expression takes hold upon Micah's face, intense with the gaze flickering to his surroundings. Rich Goat ain't here. Why? Is Leo with you? No. Suddenly, Jeremy approaches from around the corner. Dude, what the hell? The stout Fennec's turquoise eyes bulge. He looks more round than I remember him, looking like a mix of Jenna with Carl's body. Schizo's here? Oh geez, where's the wolf? He says he's not here. Guys, I'm looking for Carl. Even the police are searching for him right now. Micah tenses the hell up at that information, his standoffish demeanor completely gone. One of the few people he talked to before he went missing around midnight was you, Jeremy. Have any idea where he could have gone? Jeremy stares ahead at me blankly. There's a certain warmth that Jenna possesses to her gaze that her brother completely lacks. I look at Jeremy now and all I can see are the times he threatened me over stuff I didn't do, called me a faggot, and hit me. Yet, there's definitely something different in his demeanor than I remember. He's less intense. Schizo, I'd tell you if I knew. I just hooked him up yesterday, like a quarter mile away from his house. Ever since he crashed his ride, he makes me come out there to him when he wants to buy. So he didn't mention anything about running off? I can't see Carl running. Why the hell would he want to when he's got everything he needs in that castle? The castle. Which is why it's worrying that he isn't there. Did it look like somebody broke in? No. Oh. You didn't give him anything laced, did you? I really don't know how all that stuff works. No, it's the same stuff I smoke. That's not that reassuring, but I nod regardless. Well, thanks. We're staying at Carl's if you hear anything or see him around somewhere. Jeremy frowns, canting his head to the side. We? Is Jenna with you? Yeah. Jeremy's frown deepens, but he doesn't exactly look angry or anything. Oh. There's a pause of silence punctured by the choked sobs from Heather behind the house. How's she doing? The usual. Better than everyone else. Jeremy's frown shifts to a lopsided smile, the fox even grinning for a second. One of his front teeth is chipped in half. Sounds about right. Micah looks over his shoulder. Gonna get the joint now. He sidesteps, grunting as he passes. Nice soul patch, fag. You've got a glass house there, stone thrower. I've got a lot of stones. Now fuck off. Who the hell is this neon sign fuck me of a bat to treat me like this? I liked him better when he was just a tiny, annoying klepto. But I liked him even more when he was on the back of the milk carton. Jeremy watches Micah for a moment before scratching his gut. His eyes are upon me now. Yeah, you should go now? Of course. Gladly. I look around at my surroundings. I'll let Jenna know that you're doing just great here. Eat shit. Don't come back. Jeremy just stares at me until I begin to walk away, then goes back to Heather. She's still crying. Thursday. Hey. Who the fuck is this? So, you are leaving? Running off to fuck some other wolf? It's a joke. Calm down. We were just trying to have some fun. I was starting to realize that this is probably not the best time, but... So you're playing this stupid game of keeping me guessing whether or not you're gonna ditch me by next year, and then you pull this shit? Outside. The hell is wrong with you? Me? You know, I told her that there was no way in hell you'd fall for this since you already know how I felt about you. I'm the one that should be fucking offended that you think that. That's not fair. You wanted a reaction from me and you got one. Happy? What's wrong? This was your idea? The phone clutched in my hand disappears. It's a prank. Making me think that I just lost my otter is a prank? If this is a fucking joke, then you need to learn how to make one first. Why don't you learn how to take one? How was I supposed to take that? Just laugh and shrug and say, well, fuck, so much for that? Is that what you expected? Actually, we just thought you wouldn't fall for it. At least, not this hard. I mean, come on. I cropped that from the cover of some teen magazine. It was my number 2, if you didn't notice. It just wasn't a good time, alright? No. No. What the hell are you doing here anyway? Semester ended last week. So, you're staying at home for the summer? Of course not. I'm staying with Emily. You need to calm down, Leo. How can we ever have fun if you're exploding all the time? Telling me to calm down is the worst thing you can do right now. I'm tired, I'm hot, and I just wanted to have lunch with him. You're overreacting. I'm going to Pueblo, Leo. I stare through the grainy darkness. The motel room air is dry and stuffy. The air conditioner must be off. I look over. TJ is next to me in bed. He's curled up in a fetal position, his knees raised and his tail between his legs. TJ doesn't usually sleep like that. Leo lays on the bed across from us. He's laying on his back, his form perfectly still. There's no covers on him, and he's still in his jeans from yesterday. Neither of them are snoring, or even audibly breathing for that matter. It takes me a moment, but I can't actually tell if Leo's eyes are closed or not. I picture in my mind him slowly turning his head, looking right at me with no expression. He has no eyes. They're just shadows. I blink, trying to shift my legs beneath the sheets. Fortunately, I can. I'm not dreaming anymore. Leo isn't actually looking at me. Why did I even think that? And why does it make me so unnerved? And that dream. Jesus. I slide my feet out from under the covers and sit upright on the edge of the bed. Maybe a splash of water will make me feel better, though I could really use a dip in an actual pool. At Pueblo, there are so many of them around, I take it all for granted. The realization dawns on me that once I graduate, the chances of me being able to afford a place with one nearby are almost none. I wring my tail some in my paws. My fur is oily and damp. I definitely need to take a shower in the morning. Hell, if the motel tub didn't look like it had seen 20 years worth of dirty feet, piss, and cum, I'd take a bath. But first, I've got to get the AC going. I walk over to the wall-mounted AC by the window. I'm surprised this place doesn't use swamp coolers like every other home in Echo. It takes me a second for my eyes to adjust to the darkness, but I manage to find and turn the control knobs. Despite cranking the thing to the max setting, only a petty stream of air is exuded from the front vent. It's cold though, so there's that. I stick my face up to it. The blowing air on my whiskers makes my jowls raise instinctively. It's refreshing and the world seems a little less hazy. Still, I feel gross, more so than usual. I remember on Saturday mornings, I wake up super early to clean myself, to trim my facial scruff and head fur, and just look as presentable as possible. I don't really know who I was trying to impress. Maybe show everyone that I was all well adjusted and normal now. All the grooming work I performed didn't last 4 hours in the hot car ride up to Echo though. Especially when the AC went out all the way from Gulch City to Route 93. I was nervous to see everyone again, really. Rose-tinted glasses and all that sort of thing only last for so long. I mean, it's been 3 years and I haven't really made anything of myself other than becoming another college deditor to an oversaturated minor. I'm not like Jenna or TJ, who are absolutely going places. Hell, from what I heard, even Flynn became the city clerk. I guess I relate more to Carl than I originally thought. As much as I hate Echo, the moments of hanging with the group growing up are still some of the best I've ever had, even counting recent college happenings. We were all friends, but that friendship came with a lot of serious weight to it, baggage that was never unpacked, I guess. I didn't honestly expect us to even try to. Flynn had other plans. And who could blame him? After that, Leo's freak out and Carl going missing, any sort of semblance of fun, idle spring break, is gone. It's like there's this buzzing tension in the air, methane filling up a room just waiting for a lighting of a match. God, and here I am, whining about how the mood is ruined when my old best friend is just fucking gone. What the hell was I honestly expecting? Us to all just hang out a bunch of Christmas lights in Leo's backyard, grill up some carne asada, get drunk, and dance to a bunch of indie playlists? And of course, I'd fantasize about some sort of brief reunion with Leo. I mean, that's natural, right? I didn't expect him to be in this rough a shape, and I definitely didn't expect this whole Jenna-Leo rivalry to explode like it did. I glanced briefly to my camera bags at the end of the bed. I have a feeling that I'm not going to get much done for my project. With some reluctance, I pull my face back from the cooling vents and head to the bathroom. I try to shut the door behind me quietly, but it's still pretty loud. I look at the sink and realize that this isn't going to cut it. I tug off my shirt and underwear, then place them on the edge of the counter. At home, I just throw them on the floor, but I don't really trust how clean the linoleum is here. I step into the shower. It gets hot quick, so I fiddle with the handle some. There's some red fur tucked in the corner, so I'm guessing Leo took one earlier as well. He was worried that the police would come by his place, so he insisted on staying here while we searched for Carl. I remember him, and I used to take hour-long showers together back when my family was out of town. My parents had one of those walk-in Roman-style showers with marble tile. He thought it was the coolest thing. I bend down and pick up the tiny complimentary shampoo bottle from the rack and begin to lather the contents into my fur. It's not exactly the best for my type of fur, but it'll do for now. I bet Jenna would have loved that shower. She had used an outdoor one for most of her life, as I recall. I think she lives off campus now in a studio apartment she picked out. I've never actually seen it. She probably splurged with her full ride money and got something really nice. Bet it beats the hell out of the communal dorm showers, which are not as sexy as porn makes you believe. I begin lathering further down. Usually I'd rub one out during the shower time. Though at the moment, I'm pretty devoid of those feelings. Ever since I got here, I'm starting to feel sort of detached from everything. Like all the chaos that's going on around me, and I'm just here. I just want Carl to magically show up so that we can all go home. I'll rip some archival footage off the internet and just record voiceovers of the history section of the county's website. I'm not really an A+ student anyways. Grades don't even matter in journalism, it's all about who you know, really. I close my eyes, hoisting my arms up against the shower wall and resting my forehead against it. The hot water pours down my side. It's a bit more sensitive to heat there, but I can take it. I step out of the bathroom in my towel. I wasn't expecting to take a shower when I first went into the bathroom, so I didn't bring a change of clothes with me. Creeping over on my pads, I disrobe and quickly begin to pull out a fresh t-shirt and shorts from my bag. Chase? TJ and Leo are no longer in bed. The Lynx is over by the light switch, squinting blearily at me. Well... Leo blinks at me. Buenos dias. I quickly try to scamper on the rest of my shorts, foregoing underwear for the time being. Oh geez, hey, sorry Chase. TJ turns, quickly averting his gaze. Leo just sighs some, rubbing his eyes. Thanks for the show. Your phone was going off while you were in the shower. My cheeks feel a bit warm as I manage to finally get my shorts up to my waistline. Oh, who called? Leo stares blankly at me, looking more tired than any of us. I wasn't going to check. An uneasy look punctuates that comment, and it catches me off guard a little. Can I turn around now? Yeah, TJ. Thank you. The lynx uncovers his eyes and moves to the bed, sitting back down. He still looks like he hasn't fully woken up yet. Sorry for waking you guys. I was really needing a shower. Otter stuff, you know. It's okay, Chase. You kinda woke me up from some pretty weird dreams. So, thank you. He manages a smile, still trying to blink the blurriness out of his eyes, by the looks of it. His irises begin to narrow back to a more slitted state. No problem, TJ. I actually should be getting back out there. It's 3:30 in the morning. Are you sure? I finish putting on my shirt and move to check my phone. Yeah, I'm sure. Man, when I find that goat, I swear to God. He stretches some before stifling a yawn. Not gonna let him out of my sight for a month. There's a text from Jenna. Hi Chase, I couldn't sleep so I'm heading back to the motel. If you're up, do you want to go out looking with me? I'm feeling a little better after my shower, so I send Jenna a quick text agreeing to help with the search. What does it say? TJ cants his head, peering at me with a sort of dazed, curious look. Jenna was having trouble sleeping, so she wants to go searching. Leo looks up at me, his expression indiscernible. Isn't it kinda dark to try to go out looking for him? I mean, not that I'm trying to dissuade you all, just it seems kind of harder. It's that whole 48 hours thing. The harder we look now, the better. Sitting back and praying everything will work out won't do any good. TJ's eyes widen some, looking a bit taken back. His jowls twitch some, the feline looking down at his sheets between his legs. There's a knock at the door. The sound of jingling keys can be heard coming from the other side. There's a scratching sound of metal on metal, the door being unlocked. After a moment, it opens. Jenna steps out of the darkness, rubbing her arms some and making a beeline for her bag. Hey, TJ, Chase, Leo. She nods to each of us in turn before beginning to rifle through her belongings. Aren't you supposed to be keeping watch at the house? Aren't you supposed to be in jail? TJ makes a noise that sounds like he just choked on his own spit. I try to avoid looking directly at Leo. He doesn't say anything, though I hear the bed he's sitting on creak audibly. She takes out 2 water bottles, tossing one to me. I only barely catch it, mainly because it stopped by my nose first. Ow. My snout tingles with the aftershock. My nose feels wet for some reason, though when I reach up, there's no blood. Must be the burst blood vessels. Oh. She stifles a brief, amused huff, looking apologetic. You're still waking up, I see. You think that's funny? Just walking in and hitting him with that? Leo's crackling baritone comes out a few decibels too loud, his tone stern, like a scolding parent. It has a way of catching everyone's attention. That wasn't the intent. There's a pause, Leo about to speak again, but Jenna managing to cut him off before he can. Speaking of, we're going to go check in with Duke to see if he knows anything. Leo's jaw shifts, as if he's trying to speak but the words don't come out. He leans back, then forward again. Have fun. Chase, are you all set? She looks at me expectant. I guess she's ready to go. Oh, yeah, sure. I force a smile, trying to downplay the cavalcade of tension this room has become. Goodbye, guys. See you later. TJ seems to be doing the same. Leo just stares. We'll text with some updates in a bit. Jenna pats my shoulder once before heading out. I follow suit. The air is surprisingly fresh outside, even a bit damp. And I'm gonna leave it there for today. So, Carl's still missing. He's certainly not in the ghost dimension. And it appears that perhaps Jeremy or Micah might know a bit more about what's happening to Carl, at the very least. But I guess we're going to have to find all that out later on in the next episode, which hopefully goes out maybe Monday. It depends. I'm actually having a lot of trouble recording because my dog is sick right now, so it's not that it's distracting, it's just that it's a little hard because it's a lot of coughing and gagging that he's doing, so it's very concerning to say the least. But anyways, thank you for listening/watching. If you would like to play Echo or any of the games from the Echo project, there will be links down in the description for their itch page. If you would like to support them, then you can support them through Patreon. And I fully suggest that you do support them because they do have some special Patreon only content there, which are some of the short stories, which you probably won't see on this channel because, it's Patreon exclusive for them. But yeah. I will see you guys later, and bye-bye.